What's up YouTube? John back with another art video. Today I'll be highlighting probably uh, 3 out of the top 5 pieces in my art collection, done by no other than Image Comics founding fathers. Back in the early 90s, the Image 7, composed of Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, Jim Valentino, Marc Silvestri, Eric Larson, and Will Portasio, um, made an exodus from Marvel and formed their own company. At that time, they were at their peaks with McFarlane on Spider-Man, Jim on X-Men, Rob on X-Force. Silvestri had been doing X-Men for a while. I fell in love with his work from the Inferno story arc. But, my friend Dickie had long suggested that the original art market for those early 90s, the Image 7, was going to continue to peak, and his prediction he made 4 years ago holding true. Definitely, those prices for those artists have inflated, kind of because, for at least collectors of comics in the late 80s, early 90s, we're kind of hitting that point in our career where we're in the prime of our income and, of course, looking for nostalgia. So definitely Dickie was ahead of his time making that prediction. First piece I wanted to highlight was a commission I got from Jim Lee back in 2018. I remember when Albert Moy saying Jim was willing to do full 11 by 17 commissions in 2018, which he hadn't done for several years. I had to hop on the opportunity. So I did want to go full-fledged 11 by 17 page. But, the thing about this is this has a pretty interesting backstory that I think is priceless. My friend Jimmy C, again, one of my good friends from this art community that I met, said it best. He said, "We tend to put a price on art, but sometimes the journey and experience is what makes it priceless." So truly kind of what initially was just supposed to be a commission. I heard Jim was going to come to a local art and comic convention in LA, so I had talked with Albert thinking I would just want to take a picture with Jim picking up the art. So I remember it was in July of 2018. I went to this convention next to, I want to say, the Hilton Hotel nearby LAX. It was both an art convention, I think, maybe Bashara, Nostalgic Investments was organizing it, and right next door was a small comic book convention, Torpedo Con, ran by Jim's good friend John. So I got there, saw Albert, finished the payment that was owned, and then Albert told me Jim would be there later that afternoon. So I was like, cool, I'll hang around, just browse some art and comics. And then I ran into another friend, Zubair. Used to run Planet Awesome Collectibles. I know he works with Torpedo now, so I hung out with him a little bit. And then after a while, I would check in, said, "Oh, Jim's not here yet." And then Zubair had told John, Jim's friend, that I was picking up a commission, and then John wasn't sure if Jim was going to make it. So long story short, somewhere between Albert and John, I know they were contacting Jim, and unfortunately something came up where Jim couldn't make it. But I think John saw kind of the excitement of me kind of meeting Jim and picking up the piece. So it was arranged somehow. They said, "Look, if you're willing to drive and meet Jim, he can meet you later in the afternoon, evening." So sure enough, we set up a time. I went to a Starbucks just about 30 minutes north of where I live, and then I met Jim and picked up that this piece right here that day. And really, Jim is phenomenal, not only as an artist, a businessman, but really, despite his iconic stature in the comic business, still very down to earth. He treated me to a cup of coffee, kind of sat and talked for a little bit, and then, I didn't want to take advantage. I did bring just like 2, 3 things he was willing to sign. I had my good friend Raghav Arku Marv, a Batman remark on his Hush Trade paperback book. Then had him sign a few OA pieces as well. And really got to kind of just chat with Jim, asking, his favorite character, how long a commission like this takes. And then took a selfie with Jim at the end. So really that's something that you can't put a price tag on. Just that whole experience that was unexpected. But I'm rambling, so let's kind of just focus on this amazing piece. Just love the intricate detail, the way Jim does the cross-hatching, his work with kind of the whiteout and the shading. And this is my all-time favorite character. Him and Wolverine are about a tie, but he's definitely my favorite mutant. And I love Jim's rendition of him ever since he took over Uncanny X-Men, and then the X-Men 90s is phenomenal. Again, 2018, the Master of Magnetism in all his glory. I'm just gonna turn the camera like that just so you can focus, see the whole thing. And then hopefully didn't get you too dizzy. And then I always like to show some calf. So this is me posing with Jim as well. All right. And then again, it's framed right next to another founding father of Image Comics, Marc Silvestri. And Mr. Sinister is also one of my favorite X-Men villains. So, I've been hunting for Silvestri Sinister. I think my odds of getting like a Mutant Massacre or Inferno Sinister is very slim at this point. But this is a remarkable, memorable cover. And Mark created Sinister as well. So it's only fitting to kind of get a cover by Mark with Mr. Sinister. This is from the Messiah Complex. And kind of just love, and this was pencils by Mark, inks by Joe Weems. And really love the intricate, fine line work here. And then Mystique, of course, Charles Xavier, who will see you in Doctor Strange, sir. Cyclops and Wolverine. And this again was used for many covers. It was used for the Panini cover, the sketch cover, just the promotional image, the actual comic itself, the trade paperback cover, and then the X-Men 2020 milestone cover. So Mark and Jim framed side by side, two of my favorite villains. Last but not least, this was a pickup from 2021, my biggest pickup of this past year. And this was done by layouts by Jim Valentino, another founding father of Image Comics, Rob Liefeld pencils, and then Scott Williams, who soon became Jim's right-hand man, inker. The two of them did amazing work. So Jim and Rob, so that's 4 of the 7 founding members, and then Scott Williams' resume is phenomenal. But this is a double-page splash from There's a Watu the Watcher. What if issue 7? What if Wolverine became an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.? And this recaps the first appearance of Wolverine when he tangles with the Hawk and Wendigo. And who says Rob can't draw feet? Phenomenal phalanges right there. Both the Hawk and Wendigo. And then signed by Rob back then. And kind of just love the text work. There you go. Wolverine in all its glory. And this piece is interesting. When I had posted it, a lot of people thought that this was, they were asking, was this zipatone technique done for kind of the Hawk, kind of this darker shading in all of them. And, I had reached out to Scott because Rob and Scott, they actually commented on my post. And, Rob had to recall it wasn't zipatone. It was actually a different inking technique that he tried back then. So that splatter effect was all courtesy of Scott. There you go. Just zooming out, and then let me try to find the actual color version. There we go, and here's the publish page right there for you. Again, glad to share. These are some of my most treasured pieces from the collection. Truly phenomenal work by the Image 7. John signing off.